to my left hand, so I can't articulate the pointer and the speaker. But please let me know if you can't hear me the back of the room, and I'll pick up the speaker. In this presentation today, both Liz and I are going to be presenting to you, and what we're going to look at is why sensory and consumer research is important and relevant to the pharmaceutical community. We're going to look at what is sensory and consumer research, and how sensory and consumer research is carried out in a safe and effective manner. Just a little bit about SRL Pharma. We are a multidisciplinary team with global expertise in sensory research, medicine and pharmacy, and have all the support and infrastructure required to carry out consumer research to the highest standards. We have over a decade of pharmaceutical experience in sensory and consumer research, experience working with conventional and orphan medicine. We've collaborated with the pharma community, with CROs, academia and government in various projects involving taste and palatability of medicine. Our suite of services include both sensory and consumer research using both naive and experienced panelists. At SRL Research, all our research is carried out to the highest standards, to GCP standards, regardless of whether it is just ethical approved or HPRA approved. We provide a turnkey solution through our partnership with UCC School of Pharmacy and with the Clinical Research Facility at the Mercy Hospital in Cork. We believe that sensory science is a little bit of a grey area for the whole pharmaceutical community, so we're very excited to share with you our expertise in sensory consumer research. And if you have any questions after the presentation or want to follow up with any of us here, where we've a stand down in number 120, and we've cards here, so we'd be delighted to meet you, have a cup of coffee and explain anything that we haven't had an opportunity to go through in this presentation. Okay, this is just a view of our infrastructure. We have our clinical research facility at Mercy Hospital, we have our pharmacy where we do all our preparations for our research. And then we have obviously the isolated booth area where we carry out everything in a controlled environment. This is our organisational chart. You'll see this is myself and Liz here, and then our medical team that's primarily involved in our clinical research involves our chief investigator, quality and regulatory affairs manager, we have our chief pharmacist, statistician, then we have our technical support, which include clinical nurses, sensory scientists and technicians. The previous studies that we have been involved in since 2002 have been in taste diagnostics, product optimization, consumer preference and acceptability, and palatability of medicine for specific groups such as children and elderly. So we've done a lot of collaboration with the various academia, government and pharmaceutical divisions. So why does the pharma sector actually need sensory consumer research? Well, traditionally medicine was marketed based on efficacy and safety. But the good news for us, who's been trying to educate the whole pharmaceutical community on the importance of consumer research as it relates to medicine, particularly for children and the elderly, is that back in 2011 there was the PIP program, the Pediatric Investigation Plan, was implemented. And this has raised a huge awareness within the whole pharmaceutical community around the relevance and the importance actually of sensory research, particularly for children, for children's medicine. And the regulation now aims to ensure that medicines for use in children are of the highest quality, ethically researched and suitable for children. So, in other words, to enhance patients' quality of life. These are just facts, taste facts, we call them. These are, robust information. Research is being carried out, and you'll see there are two independent studies. Basically, what this is telling us is that the bottom line is that non-compliance in completing a medicine or not taking a medicine for children comes back down to the actual taste of the product, the unacceptable taste of the product. Yep. Pardon? Yes, indeed, absolutely. Because in fact, I had an incident myself where I was on an antibiotic, and I was on actually two, generic and the original. And I had the generic, and I know we can have this argument for the rest of the day in terms of generics being identical to the original. And actually, the generic for me was so bitter, it was actually almost intolerable. And I ran to Pharma to get the original. She had no clue what I was talking about. And so I actually got the original, and there was a huge difference in terms of the bitterness. So it is actually good, and the awareness. So I would actually, if I were you, report it and make a point of it. Yeah, we can talk a little bit more after this day as well. Okay, so the challenges for the pharma community is really in the pediatric medicine and the aging global population. We know that, for example, that if you bring in the whole taste acceptance of the product at the earlier stages of product development, this is where you have the catch area where we can prevent a situation where we have unacceptable medicine. We're looking at here in the phase 1 opportunity in the product development for consumer research, sensory consumer research, and that's just a graph of our world's grown population. And again, because people are growing older, the challenges are palatability of medicine in terms of swallowability of the product and so on. And the opportunities. The recognition of sensory issues in the earlier stages of clinical development, and we need to understand that compliance is compromised if sensory properties are unacceptable. So, for example, we see the bitter active ingredient taste is compromised, and we talk about the uncountable texture, the tablet size, and the swallowing is compromised. So we know that developing formulation for children with the outbreak has its challenges, because we know that while older people prefer sweeter and more intense flavours and nuances of bitterness and sourness are acceptable, on the other hand, for infants and children, they're more sensitive to sour and bitter. And now I'm going to hand you on to this.
Hi, how are you guys? So I'm going to explain a little bit about what sensory and consumer research actually is. And if you want to look at this, this is a very good snapshot about sensory and consumer research. What we need to think about when we talk about sensory and consumer research. We need to think about the psychological and physiological characteristics. Do you need them? Can you guys hear me? Well, I can
I was just conscious that I was going to share that, yeah.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Better? Okay, so we need to be conscious of who the right subjects are that we choose to use for sensory and consumer research, what the correct method is, in other words, what is the question that we need answered, and of course the controlled environment. So the human senses, we obviously need to know about the human senses, we need to understand about the human senses, because it's the human senses that are evaluating the product when it is in people's, when people consume it, they use their 5 senses. And quite often what actually happens is people get confused about when they say something tastes disgusting or they don't like the taste of it, they actually quite often are talking about the flavour of something. When we talk about flavour, we talk about retronasal aroma and taste, as well as trigeminal experience. That's the whole impact of what happens to the product in your mouth to get the flavour. But for pharma research, the most important taste is in fact bitterness. We're quite aware that bitterness and the measurement of bitterness is very important for pharmaceutical research. In fact, there's been quite a lot of research done on how bitterness is measured, and there's quite a lot of different ways in which bitterness can be measured: human studies, animal studies, analytical, and of course the instrumental, the e-tongue. But at the end of the day, from a sensory and consumer research point of view, we think that the human tongue is the most appropriate way to measure bitterness in medicine. And when to start testing? That is the question. My colleague has already put this particular slide up on the board, and I think we'd like to reinforce here at this stage that sensory and consumer research can be started at the earliest possible phases in clinical trials and in pharmaceutical development. So we would like to say that stage 1 trials and early stage development is very important to start to think in terms of sensory and consumer research. So let's talk about the methods that we use for sensory and consumer research. There are basically 2 ways we can look at it. We can look at it from the objective point of view and the subjective point of view. We can ask objective questions and we can ask subjective questions. How we do that? We recruit consumers to answer the subjective question. In other words, the liking, the palatability, the is it nice question. We recruit trained panels, we recruit and train panelists to ask the question, the objective question, to describe the flavour, describe and quantify the amount of bitterness in the product. So, subjective consumers are usually asked preference question, is one product liked over another, or they're given scales in which to express their liking of products, such as the palatability of a product, the acceptance of a product, how much they like it. And these are the kind of scales that typically would be used in consumer research for pharma. And this is an example of an output that one might get. In this case, we're talking about masking the masking a product for its bitterness. So if you like, you can see here, product 1 has no masking on it, and product 2, 3 and 4 have been masked for their bitterness. And palatability questions have been asked. How palatable is the product? And as you can see, product 2 is considerably more palatable than the other products. When we talk about objective measurements of consumer and sensory research, we're actually talking about descriptive analysis. We're talking about profiling the sensory characteristics of the product. In this case, what we do is we determine what the sensory characteristics are and we measure them using humans. So an example of an output here would be 2 products, one of which has been taste masked with a particularly minty flavour in order to overcome the bitterness in this particular product. And what this output is a measurement of the sensory characteristics of the 2 products. So we can see that one product is intensely more bitter than the other, and we can see that one product has an intensely more minty flavour than the other. Right? So, who does this? Who are the people that we recruit to be part of our panels? So we need to look at consumers to measure the subjective measurements, the palatability, the acceptability. We recruit people then for the objective measurements who we recruit based on their sensory acuity. Right? Remember, these people who are measuring the objective measurement, they're measuring the intensity of attributes, so they need to be particularly strong, they need to have very good ability with their senses. So we test their sensory acuity in order to get our panels to train. Now the key thing here for sensory and consumer research for the pharma industry is that all people who are recruited have to be recruited based on inclusion and exclusion criteria based on the API that's been tested. Okay, so by that I mean that for instance, some products may not be suitable for women to test because of pregnancy, and you would want them consuming or being involved in any drug that may be have a negative impact on a pregnancy or a fetal development. So we've spoken about where, we've spoken about who, the team as Margaret has, And how? What are the steps needed to carry out sensory and consumer research for the farm industry? And this is a very, I think this is a great little snapshot of how it's carried out. On one side we have the subjective measurements for consumers. On the other we have the objective measurements, which is with recruiting and training a panel. One, for each of the steps, you'll see step one, we define the question. Is it a consumer question or is it a trained panel question? Then we go and we get ethical approval. Right? If it's a clinical trial, we have to get HPRA approval. That's very important. And of course, all trials are carried out to GCP, good clinical practice. And the next step then is the recruitment and the provision of the panelists. Like I said before, all people who are recruited into consumer and sensory research are recruited using inclusion and exclusion criteria. The extra step, if you like, from the objective measurement side of the flow diagram is where we test their sensory acuity. We make sure that the people who are going to be on our trained panel have an extra strong sensory acuity. They're very good at smelling and tasting, in other words. And then finally, of course, we train and calibrate these people, and finally then we run the research. Ethical approval, preparation and submission takes, it's very important that ethical approval is gotten for all human research. So there's quite a lot of paperwork and quite a lot of work that needs to be done to do that. Also, we develop all the documentation that surrounded these studies. The study protocol, case report forms, SOPs for every single step of the way. So GCP compliance is the key here. It's very important for human studies that we get ethical approval and everything is GCP compliant. So this is a little bit of a case study, which I can run through very quickly here, in which a company had already developed medicine for the general population. It was a hard capsule. Now, for use in pediatric, for use for children, this medicine was broken up and put into liquid form. So the company decided that they wanted to develop a particular dispersing capsule with a smaller dosage for use with children. So that's what they did, and we were able to help them confirm that the palatability of this particular new form of the drug was more acceptable, and that the bitterness was reduced. I'm running out of time here, so I'm actually going to leave the actual case study for you guys to read when you actually see the slides online. And I'm going to hand back to Margeret to close out.
Thanks, Liz. I hope that gives you good insights in terms of how... Can you hear me here? Okay. I hope that Liz's presentation gives good insights. If you need any more information, just give us a call. So just briefly run through how can SRL Pharma support you? Well, as I said in the beginning, we are a multidisciplinary team of experts. So we have huge experience in sensory research as it relates to pharma research. I'm just going to quickly run through, we have, I suppose, the infrastructure and the resources to support all elements of our research. We can provide bespoke training to suit your pharma needs. We can provide training on-site and off-site. We can set up your own panels on-site with the SRL facility for exclusive use by you for your research. A lot of the time, a lot of research might be, a period of 6 months research, and they just need an expert panel. That's something that we provide to a lot to particularly to CROs. We can help you implement if you want to do your own program on site, which is quite common as well. And we can help you set up a robust quality management system, maybe to ISO 9001-2015 standards. And we can also provide you with retained consultancy so that you can use and leverage on our subject matter expertise at different stages of your research. Okay, is there any questions?
Case
like every research request and objective is unique, and we have to tailor the research around that approach. So, for example, if you give 6 children versus 20 children, they're so obviously then you have to pair them up. It's like a myriad of process of what is the best approach. That's the unique
Thank you very much to Liz and Margaret, and our next speaker is going to be Alistair Hurst.